people remember where they were on May the 15th, 1995? A few? I certainly do. At approximately 3 p.m. on May the 15th, 1995, I received a life-altering call. My grandmother had been murdered. That day changed my life forever. I became shackled. The actions of one man shattered my family into a million pieces. Instead of a family coming together, it tore us apart. Society doesn't teach us how to deal with our emotions. Boys are told to man up, and girls are told to hush and be nice. Coming to terms with my daily trauma of why my gran was murdered was excruciating and stressful. In order for me to compensate my feelings of anxiety and helplessness, my anger would rise up. When Dad said, just let it go, I would add another link to my chain. Mom continued to have her nightmares of finding her body, and Dad died prematurely due to all the stress and anger he held in his. Over the years, I battled to deal with my grief, guilt in not being able to save her, and my anger consumed me. Just the mention of the killer's name would have my blood boiling. I would spend hours plotting of ways to make him pay for what he'd done. I wanted the bastard dead. I wanted him to suffer just as much as she had. I even bought a gun, and I hate guns. But before I could heal, I had to face what I had gone through, deal with the emotions locked inside of me, express my anger, and release it from my body. The end of my journey brought me to a place very few have experienced. After 12 years, I met with her killer. As I turned to leave, I asked him if I could give him a hug. He was hesitant at first, but as I held him in my arms, he began to weep, and this overwhelming feeling of compassion came over me. I'd truly forgiven him, and he needed to do the same. He might be incarcerated physically, but I had been incarcerated emotionally. So why am I telling you this story? The world is fraught with anger, fear, pain, sadness. Gandhi's quote, "Be the change you want to see in the world," begins within yours as it did in mine. The impact of how you choose to be affects everyone and everything around you. Think of all the times you've been hurt by another, lied to, mocked, betrayed. You might punish them with your silence for a few weeks, and you might let it go for only it to appear during your next argument. I went through anguish. For you to experience forgiveness, you don't have to do the same. Do you have unresolved anger? Are you entrapped by your guilt? And are you still holding on to that grudge? Forgiveness seems almost unnatural. Our sense of fairness demands people pay for their wrongs. In my experience, true forgiveness is reached when you have compassion for the person who's wronged you. Now be careful not to confuse it with pity, which is based in ego and tinged with contempt, with compassion, which is an act of love and devoid of all negative emotions. When people say, "Oh, just let it go," Yeah, right. Those are just words. How? I needed to know how. Forgiveness is not easy. Did you know it's a learned skill? We just don't know how to do it automatically. It's a process that needs to take time and needs to be understood. But you must be willing to dig deep within to free yourself from the prisoner. Otherwise, you're just fooling yourself. True forgiveness is something only the body can do. Are you surprised by that? Well, here's the deal. Anger and resentment are held in the body as well as the mind. And the mind can choose to let go way before the body is ready to. In order for you to experience true forgiveness, both an emotional and physical response is required to be complete, in order for you to have more love and joy in your life. So, 1, accept and process your anger, even though it makes you feel uncomfortable. 2, free yourself. Acknowledge your revenge fantasies. That's just what they are. 3, find common ground between you and your offender. 4, forgiving yourself is crucial to healing. Accept you're vulnerable and allow yourself to be human. Accept you might have made the same mistakes. And lastly, staying in the darkness of your suffering is where true learning and a deeper sense of meaning can arise. So what do you think the benefits could be for you in your life? If I can forgive, can you? I challenge you today to make a commitment to yourself. Choose to begin working on forgiving one person you feel has wronged you. Ask yourself this question: do I want to remain the prisoner within? Or do I want to be free from the shackles that bind me? You have a choice. I know which one I've chosen. The question remains, which one will you? Thank you.